Is it worth giving someone a long rope while sacrificing another player's career?
Let's start off with the most obvious player in this list, Shubman Gill. Shubman Gill recently scored 100 in the second test against England, and which almost certainly means that his spot in this test side is guaranteed for the rest of the series. And this really got us thinking as to how long a rope can any player get at the expense of someone else's career. And we've got quite a few examples that we want to talk about. There's Gill, there's also Iyer in specific. These two are who we're going to be talking about. But yeah, it really got us thinking about the domestic system in place, the purpose of players playing India A, and does it even culminate into a test spot or not. Now, Gill probably has one of the lowest averages going around for someone who's played for such a long time. He's played 41 test innings and he's averaging only about 30, which I don't think is too great, especially in India also, where the pitches are batting friendly. Shubman Gill averages all of 30 again. Also, considering the fact that Shubman Gill took 12 test matches, not 12 test innings, he took 12 entire test matches to get to his first ever test century, shows that the Indian management has always shown trust in Gill's abilities. But for how long? Sure, he's done well in white ball, but is that something that translates into red ball cricket? And this is also in addition to the fact that Gill has not played enough domestic or Ranji Trophy cricket. He's not played enough red ball cricket, which really got us thinking about whether or not it is harsh on players like Sarfaraz and also Shreyas Iyer. And there are also a lot of players in the domestic ranks who are constantly banging the door for this spot.
Now let's talk about Shreyas Iyer. He's of course started off his test career against New Zealand with a debut century, a fantastic century. And then a lot of things happened because of which his test career doesn't seem as exciting as it was when he started. He currently averages 37 with 5 50s and 100, and in India he's played 9 test matches and he averages about 36. But here's the problem, right? If you look at his first 100 and if you look at his first couple of test matches or even international matches for India, he looked like a completely different batsman. Not just mentally, I don't know how he is feeling mentally of course, but technically he's made a huge technical change in the last couple of years. He's not the same batsman as he was when he started off his international career, and a lot of batters do this. A lot of batters over time change their career, tweak things to adjust to the international arena. Everyone in the cricketing circuit at this moment knows that Shreyas Iyer struggles against the short ball, so it seems like he made this huge adjustment just to adjust against this one ball, and so because of which he's made this huge technical change and he looks like a completely different batsman if you look at when he started off as compared to now. And with this technique, he hasn't really performed well for India. Even in the ODIs, he wasn't consistent, and now even in red ball cricket, he's gotten a lot of starts, but he hasn't converted those starts, which is a problem in itself. Which means if he does get those starts, it means that the technique is working, but he's mentally not there, or it's one over the other. At this point, he's not scoring a lot of runs, and it is a problem for India.
Now let's address the title of the video, which is whether or not Rohit Sharma is responsible for kind of saving the careers of Gill and Iyer, or is it warranted that these guys should get a long enough rope? So we decided to pull out some stats. We already told you the stats of Gill and Iyer, but we were just thinking back to some of the recent players or players in the recent past who have been given a long enough rope versus who have not been given a long enough rope, and what kind of returns it has given to Indian cricket. Now, the most obvious and well-known example is Rohit Sharma. He took 34 innings between his second and third test century, which is a really long time, and it seems to have paid off if we look at it. Rohit Sharma now has about 10 test hundreds. He's done well in England. He was also India's best test batter in these last couple of years. So you can say that it worked out, and obviously we do know how great he is in white ball, which also was another reason for the selectors persisting with Rohit in the opening slot. But this is still a very rare scenario is what I feel. Apart from Rohit Sharma, we couldn't really think of too many people who either have not got a long enough rope or who have done well after getting a long rope. Two most recent examples that do come to mind are the Karnataka batsmen Mayank Agarwal and Karun Nair. Now, let's look at Karun Nair. Apart from his triple century, he did not score in any of his other games. He got 7 innings, so that's not a particularly long rope that he was given. But could India have persisted with him longer? Obviously, it was also the case that Karun Nair had come into the squad in the place of an injured Ajinkya Rahane, and so it was only going to be a temporary replacement. And obviously, Ajinkya Rahane, as we know, it was a class batsman. He was scoring all the runs, and that could have been a reason why Karun Nair never got a look in again. But can he get a look in at this point? He's only 32. He's still probably got another good 4-5 years of cricket left in him.
Sorry for interrupting the video, but if you've made it this far, please like, share and subscribe. it always helps us, motivates us. Our next video is going to be about batting long and the art of long innings and how that's depleted in Indian cricket. So yeah, watch out for that. Like, share and subscribe. All the good stuff.
Now, similarly with Mayank Agarwal, who has a career test average of 41, he in fact has 4 test hundreds and 2 of which are double hundreds. Now, this is something that we will also cover in a later video where we talk about long innings, but this is something that Mayank Agarwal was able to do consistently, and it really begs the question if his dropping was warranted or not. Now, Mayank Agarwal, the reason he got dropped was kind of his technical flaws and string of low scores, but did he get a long enough rope is the question again, and he too is only 32 years of age, which means that he too has a decent chance to be considered once again. He's also scoring runs consistently in Ranji Trophy cricket.
Let's pose another question to y'all while addressing the question. At this point, Shubman Gill did score a century. Like Praatibh said, he will play this test series, but this is after a long rope. And how many more games does he get before he can get dropped? Like, how much longer can he not perform before he gets dropped? Before so many batters in Ranji Trophy stop performing, go out of form, and then you have to again persist with Shubman Gill because there's no other batter in the Ranji format that's performing. And I think this is the bigger problem. The fact that we don't pick batters who are currently in form, and we pick batters who are performing in white ball cricket and hoping they perform in red ball cricket, which is completely fine because this is what the international stage is. You just grow as a player. But you then give a player a very long rope until there's no more batters left in the domestic circuit that is in form. And then you persist with this one player complaining about how there are no batters in the domestic circuit. So this is a whole cycle that goes on, and we could have easily picked Sarfaraz Khan or Rajat Patidar or whoever early on in this tour, but we didn't, and we picked them ahead of players like Shubman Gill or Shreyas Iyer, who have done well in the past but haven't done well for now, like haven't done well in the recent past, of course, apart from that century.
Now, another trend that is not being observed anymore is that a lot of players who for some reason would get dropped from the test team due to low scores, etc., were often told by the selectors and the team management to go back to Ranji Trophy cricket, get some runs under their belt, and then be considered once again for selection. I can remember so many players like Pujara going back, Rahane going back, and even if it was not due to being dropped for low scores, but even if it was due to something like injury, they would go back to red ball, they would score some runs, get that confidence, and then come back into the test cricket setup. Why can't we do that anymore? It's not something that I've seen recently. For example, why can't Shreyas Iyer be dropped in the middle of the series, go back to Mumbai, go play Ranji Trophy cricket, score some runs, and then come back into the test squad when he's got some runs under his belt? Even the India A and England Lions series was on, and he could have also gone there, scored some runs, played a couple of those unofficial test match, and come back.
I think it's a big problem if these superstars of Indian cricket don't think it's important to go back to first class and score runs. Yes, the quality of bowling is different, but in the end, it's the amount of runs you score that matter. It doesn't matter what the quality is like. Like Praatibh said, if he just went back, if Shreyas Iyer, Shubman Gill or whoever in the batting lineup go back, score some runs, or bowling lineup go back and pick some wickets, that is always useful. Apart from Pujara and Rahane, we can always think of Jadeja. When Jadeja was dropped from the Indian test team, he went back to Ranji Trophy, picked up a lot of wickets, and then came back, and now look, he's one of the best test all-rounders out there. And I feel like it's very, very important for these batters and for these bowlers to do this, because if you are going to treat yourself like a superstar and because you think you've played for India, you don't have to go back and play for your state, that's just arrogance, and I don't think your career will last as long as people are hoping that it would.
So yeah, this has been our video. Let us know what you think, what your thoughts are on how players should play in the Ranji Trophy. Should they be dropped, then got back, and how long a rope should players get? And yeah, like, comment, share. Most importantly, subscribe, hit that bell icon so that you get notified every time we put out a new video, which is every Friday. We have Instagram, YouTube.